Hello, this is Mr. Bus, and in this video we are going to run two different types of chemical reactions. The first chemical reaction, we're going to use sodium bicarbonate, NaHCO3, and I've already got 20 grams of it weighed out. And we're going to combine that with 40 milliliters of vinegar, which is acetic acid, CH3COOH. In the second reaction here, we're going to combine calcium chloride, 20 grams, which I've already got weighed out, and 40 milliliters of water. So 20 grams of chemical and 40 milliliters of liquid, and there are going to be two different types of reactions. So in one of the reactions, there'll be an increase in temperature, and that's going to be the exothermic reaction. And in the other one, we're going to have a decrease in temperature, and that's going to be the endothermic reaction. So because we're dealing with a temperature change, I've got a LabQuest set up with a stainless steel temperature probe, and I'm using a styrofoam cup to hold the reaction. And the purpose of this beaker is just to keep the styrofoam cup from, keep it stable so it doesn't tip over. So otherwise sometimes they can tip over because the base is a little bit narrow. Obviously you want to wear goggles in the lab, and it's a pretty easy lab to do. It's kind of fun. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first one here, we'll add the sodium bicarbonate with the vinegar. So I'm going to just keep the data collection parameter what it normally is. When I plug in the temperature probe, I'm going to make sure that my LabQuest says file new, so that is not using any old data. I just added, like, it's Halloween today, and so I just added orange food coloring to the vinegar. So I'm going to pour the vinegar in the cup, and then this looks like it's changing just a little bit, so I'll let it change here. But that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and hit play, so that means I'm recording data. And after 10 seconds, I'm going to add the baking soda, the sodium bicarbonate. I'm going to zoom in a little bit as well so that you can see better. There, that's better. So here's the sodium bicarbonate. I'll add it kind of fast, it's more fun. There. So that's the first reaction. And take a look at the LabQuest as well. The LabQuest is showing a decreasing temperature. So this is the endothermic reaction. The sodium bicarbonate combined with the vinegar is pulling in heat from the environment, and it's showing a colder reaction. So over the course of the 3 minutes or 180 seconds, the reaction is going to kind of start to slow down, and we'll probably reach a minimum temperature. Looks like we're at about 14.4 degrees after starting at about 21 degrees. So lost about 7 degrees there, Celsius. All right, if you're running the lab in class, you're probably just going to let it collect the whole 3 minutes, but I don't want to do that because it'd be kind of a boring video to just go for another minute and a half without too much change. So I'm going to get a towel, clean off the temperature probe, hit stop on the LabQuest. Should have done that first, I guess. And I'm going to get a new container here for the next reaction. So move those back, put the temperature probe in the new container. On my LabQuest, I'm going to hit the file cabinet icon. So now I'm on run 2. And in run 2 here, I'm running 20 grams of calcium chloride and adding 40 milliliters of water. So I'll add the water first. Okay. And I'm going to hit play on the LabQuest so I can start recording the data. Let it go for about 10 seconds. You zoom in a little bit here so you can see what's going on better. All right, it's been 10 seconds. I'm going to add the calcium chloride to the water. You start to stir, and you can see on the lab quest on the left that we are starting to see a pretty dramatic increase in temperature. We started at about 20 degrees Celsius. We're up to about mid-40s. And it's going to keep increasing from there. Mid-50s. Remember, on the Celsius scale, 0 is freezing and 100 is boiling. So we're going to get pretty close to 100. We're not going to get maybe that close. We're going to get probably the 70s or 80s. And I mean, I can feel the heat. You can even see condensation on the side of the glass here from the humidity, or the, I guess the steam. It's mid-70s now. Yep. So I'll just let it go to the same point that the last one went to, which is coming up here. 77. And just I can kind of feel that the calcium chloride is just about dissolved. Just about all of it is dissolved here, so I think that's going to be about as hot as it gets here, 77.8. All right. So we'll stop that. And now, both the reactions are done. That was the exothermic reaction. You zoom into the lab quest here. It's a little bit of a bad reflection. In class, we connected the lab quest to our iPad, but I'm just trying to make a quick video here, so I'm just going to zoom into the lab quest here. If you're doing the write-up at home, you could, for my class, you could just use data from this video here. So I'm going to view both runs. So here's the first run, which is the blue line. That's the vinegar and the sodium bicarbonate. Was an endothermic reaction because it had a temperature decrease. This red line here on the top is the second one, which is calcium chloride and water, which is an exothermic reaction. And for our data table, we want to label those. So this would be a good screenshot to include in the write-up. Again, because I'm not going to, in the video, connect this to my iPad. And the initial temperature is shown here. So 21.6 for run 1, vinegar and sodium bicarbonate, and 21.3 for run 2, which is calcium chloride and water, as you can see there. And then the final temperature, just kind of clicking near the end there. The final temperature for run 1, which is the vinegar and the sodium bicarbonate, is 14.4. And for run 2, which is the calcium chloride and water, the final temperature was 77.8. So we're going to have a delta, or a change in temperature that's negative for the sodium bicarbonate and vinegar. And we're going to have a delta, or change in temperature, final minus initial, that's positive for the calcium chloride and water. So calculate your final minus initial. It'll either be positive or negative for the data table. And again, that was the lab. Exothermic reaction for the calcium chloride and the water because it released heat. Endothermic reaction for the vinegar and the baking soda because it consumed heat and became colder.